Welcome back, seventh graders. Today is our final day on our writing piece. I hope you had a good time with your books today and that you had some fun playing quizzes on figurative language, and hopefully you got those all right and you know your figurative language. Today we're going to do some final revisions. So I'm going to ask you right now to open up two documents. The first document I want you to open up is your writer's notebook. I need that opened up, and try and find where your writer's secrets are. They're going to be way down there. And then the second document I need you to open up will be your essay that you've been writing about the messy room. So teachers, pause and give students a few minutes to get those two documents opened. All right, so right now you've hopefully got into your writer's secrets. Let's be in this document first. This is where we're going to work. Today, I'm going to teach you how to come up with a creative title for your essays. You're going to write quite a few essays in your lifetime and quite a few this year, so it's really helpful to come up with creative titles. We don't want boring titles like, "This is my messy room. The room was really stinky." We want really good titles that hook you in and make you want to read it. So right here, we're going to put that down as our secret, titles. And the actual secret for what we're going to do is to use a passage or phrase from our writing piece. And why we do this? It adds interest. It builds interest. When we add in a title. So go ahead and get that written in there. Teachers, you can pause it for a second and let students get that all added in there. All right, now comes the important part, actually doing this. So go ahead and click on the tab where your essay is. So you're opening up your essay right now. You're going to take just a few minutes and you're going to skim and scan and go over your essay and look for phrases that would make amazing titles, something that would capture us. So as I go through this, I could name this essay, I could call this essay Unforgiving Landfill. That would work. I could also look through and see what would be another one. Oh, Display of Rot. That would make a great title. And what else would do a great one? Pungent. Maybe I just want one really strong word. All of those would make great titles. As you can see, this student chose to do Display of Rot and make that your title. Notice the title is centered at the top of your essay. It's not bolded, it's not underlined, but it is capitalized and spelled correctly. So right now, teachers, go ahead and pause. Students, find a title. When you find your title, feel free to share out a few of them in your crew. All right, now that you've put a new title on there, it's interesting, it's intriguing, it's going to make us want to read it. I want you to look at your writer's secrets that we've already put in there. And I want you to put in some writer's secrets. Could you do an ellipsis? Could you do short sentences? You need to have in there two proper nouns like orbit or Nike or North Face. Could you, actually you need to, have in there in a positive, my room, a toxic wasteland, was a black hole for my homework assignments. Notice the commas. Notice a toxic wasteland is the actual positive. It's a noun that's renaming the noun room. So take a look at your writer's secrets. Which writer's secrets do you have in here? You must have 3 and 4. And of course, now you have 5 with the title. But did you use any short sentences? Did you add in an ellipse? Is there any of those that you could put in? So take a minute and take a look at applying these writer's secrets right now. You should have those few in there. Okay, now this next section. This is for you guys. You guys can work through this at your own pace. At any point in time, when you're ready, you will start to build through this revising checklist. So if you're like, what was I supposed to do? You can come back to this and rewatch it and double check everything. First, you've got to have a lead. Hook us in. Mrs. P went over those leads. Make sure you've got one in there. Next, 2 proper nouns. Remember, proper nouns start with capital letters. Go ahead and make those proper nouns a color. Any color you want, just make sure that we can see it. Third, on this list, you've got to have an appositive, which I just talked about. Make sure and underline your appositive. You can see it right here. Underline your appositive. These are the things you must have. Again, when you're done writing, you can come back through this list. This one right here is the one we're going to spend just a little bit of time on. Your job is to make sure that we can see it, hear it, taste it, smell it, textures, colors, sounds, all of it. Include lots of sensory detail. Find some great adjectives and bold them. Find some strong verbs and bold those. And if you're like, I don't know where to get these strong verbs or these vivid adjectives or the sensory detail. Well, back on Google Classroom, underneath the resources, you have adjectives for sensory detail, a whole list of them. So you could look through that list and be like, oh, I want to add this. You have the same thing right here, some action verbs. So you could add in some different actions. Your job is to use these different tools to help you as you go through this. So right here, I want to make something a different color. Maybe that cup is baby blue. Maybe the slime is a forest green. And I can continue to go on down further of what I see. Maybe they are examining the substance that's oozing out of the closet. And you can continue to go on. Maybe you want to talk about how dull it is. Maybe it's colorless. Maybe it's faded. And maybe there's some sounds happening here. So you can look at some of these different sounds that are going on and smells. What odor, using the word odor and using the word, as we go into smell, some bad smelling things, that it was sickening to smell and it was a burning smell, or it was curdled milk, or it was decomposing. So you want to really use this powerful word choice that you have right here. And there are 14 different pages that you can scroll through and find some really great words. If you need some good actions, this is a great place for finding some great verbs. So you can scroll through and find some amazing verbs. That there was the knocked over glass. It was dripping. It plopped. I tiptoed down the hallway. All of these action verbs are perfect for your writing piece. So be sure and use these resources. That's what they're there for. So today, when you're revising, use these resources. All right. Continuing on as we go through this, you also need to make sure that you use 2 examples of figurative language. We've been talking about this over and over and over again. Similes, onomatopoeias, metaphors, personifications. Be sure and have those things in there. And finally, a concluding sentence, a clencher. That's an ending sentence. How do you end it? You can't just say the end. You need to tie it all together. And of course, you should have a title. Make sure you have that title there. Finally, make sure that you have spell checked and double checked everything, that if it's underlining it, if it's not correcting it, that you've made sure that it's there. You've used capitals and end marks so that it's clear where sentences start and stop. All right. While working today, you will have a checklist up. So here's what your checklist looks like. You also have this checklist, like I said before, at the bottom of your essay by your rubric. And you can go through your rubric too to see what you need to do to your essay. So right here, you're going to go through this checklist, making sure you've done all the things you need to do. When it's all done and it's the best it can possibly be, you're going to want to turn it in on Google Classroom. Now, it's not due until Wednesday, so you have another day to work on it. But